Once you've completed your discipline training certification card, the next step will be adding your STAR-LRP sites. You will be taken to the site search card. Please be sure you are reviewing all relevant content within the site search card. Once you have finished your review of the content and instruction, you will come down to see the first drop-down search menu, the state, territory, region, or province menu. This will be how you start your site search. From here, please select your state in which your site is located. Once you select your state, you will see a secondary menu pop up, and you will also see your search results begin to populate. To narrow your results, please utilize the zip code search feature. I selected New Hampshire as my state, and I will now put in a relevant zip code. Once you've narrowed your results, you'll have much better ease in adding your site. Here you can see I have 3 sites relevant to my state and zip code selections. From here, I will proceed to check the box next to the sites that I work at and choose to add as part of my application. For this example, I will select the top 2 results. But again, the importance here is to be sure you're selecting the site that you are working at, all sites, not just one. From here, I will check the Add Sites button. And the system, once I click Add Sites, will be checking to make sure your sites that you have designated via the checkboxes are eligible for STAR-LRP. Okay, the system has run its eligibility check, and now I'm seeing an example of 2 different responses that I can receive. The first is that I now see a sites added table populated beneath the Add Sites button. I can see that my first selected site, the Community Health Services of Whitefield, is added into this table. This means that this site is eligible for STAR-LRP and has successfully been added to my application. What I'm also seeing here is what we call a site ineligible alert. I can see that the Morrison Nursing Home that I also selected is not actually eligible for STAR-LRP at this time. The system is notifying me that this site is not eligible and is providing me steps and instructions on how to reach out to the appropriate customer service team to inquire about this site's particular eligibility for STAR. In some instances, sites are not eligible based on that site criteria and program criteria, all outlined in the application program and guidance. In other instances, this alert will be triggered simply because the site does not have an active site POC. In all instances of this alert being populated, please read the instructions and reach out to the designated inbox for the correct customer service team, and they will be able to assist you further with your inquiry. Another scenario is if I do not see my site at all returned in my search results, despite putting in the appropriate state and zip code. In this instance, I see this checkbox beneath my search results table. I can check this checkbox and I see similar instruction, again, to reach out to a designated inbox for the appropriate customer service team. If I do not see my site at all in my search results, that does not automatically mean that it is not eligible for STAR-LRP. It could mean a variety of scenarios, all of which the team at the LRP sites at hrsa.gov will be able to assist you with. If your site is found eligible and is added to the site search at a later time, at any point, the user will be able to come back to this card and research for their site and hopefully be able to see their site refreshed in their search results and be able to add it at a later date. Once I have successfully added a site, or if I've added a site and received an ineligible status, I will continue with the rest of my card. Once I reach out to that LRP sites at hrsa.gov, I will take the process of adding a site through with the customer service team, and I will be able to continue my application at this point, even if I have not successfully added a STAR LRP eligible site at this point in time. Of course, I will have to have a site successfully added and reflected in my sites added table in order to submit my STAR LRP application. But at this point, the user is not blocked from continuing their application process. The next step will be to answer the question, have you listed each site where you will work or begin working? If I say yes, the system may throw an error if it sees that you have ineligible sites returned. If you are unable to add all of your sites or any of your sites at this point in time, you should select no. Doing so will not make you ineligible. It simply is an in progress status for this section of your application. And it's you stating that you will revisit this card to successfully add your STAR LRP site before you submit your application. Should at any point I wish to remove a site from the table, I can always do so using this remove button. Additionally, if I ever want to re-add a site or add a new site, I have to just select the checkbox once again, enable that add sites button, and then select add sites. I can run site searches across multiple states as needed, but I will only ever be able to see one state and zip code combination on my search results table at any given time. If I have successfully added all of my sites and I have no ineligible alerts, I am able to say, yes, all of my sites have been added. Once I select yes for the have you listed each site where you work or will begin working question, I will see a secondary question pop up. Will you remain employed at the selected sites until September 30th, 2021? This will also be a required question. However, if I select no, I will not see this question presented at this time. Remember, in order to submit your application, this selection will eventually have to be switched to yes, and I will have to eventually respond to the secondary question. So once I've completed my site search, successfully added STAR eligible sites, and I've completed my relevant questions and responses, I can hit continue and move on to the next step of my application process, the employment verification step.